and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Lucky he didn't get knocked out there. Jesus. Mate, if that would have been me, it would have been f***ing snoozing.
Wow.
That's how I had it. Very anticlimactic, not gonna lie to you guys.
It was, not what I expected. I expected a lot more.
É isso aí, pessoal. Algumas marcas, bom, mas estou bem. Descansar um pouco, já estou voltando. Agradeço todo o apoio de vocês, né, com todo o carinho. Estou aqui com o pessoal, minha família, meu time, meus filhos, todo mundo aqui, todo mundo comendo aqui. Aí, ó, vamos pedir umas pizzas e é isso, né? Vida que segue. Obrigado a todo mundo, né? Obrigado ao meu time e vou estar muito melhor. Pode esperar isso, tá bom, pessoal? E é isso. Nunca desista dos seus sonhos. Chama.
Kia ora e te iwi, no mai hoki mai ki UFC on Sky, ko Ravinda Hunia tōku ingoa. Now, if you have been on social media in the last 24 hours, you would be seeing Dan Hooker removing his bandage and stitches from his hands. Some gruesome stuff there, but it is what it is. So with him continuing to be on the mend, we have Navajo Stirling, UFC light heavyweight, on the couch with me today. Kia ora e hoi, and welcome to the new whare.
Kia ora, yeah, no, it looks good. It's a lot more cozier now, so yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah. Look, I thought it would be a great idea to have you on the show today, seeing as there is so much movement happening with the light heavyweight division. Of course, we saw UFC 313 at the weekend where Alex Pereira lost the title to Magomed Ankalaev. First, wanted to get your thoughts on this fight, because obviously this is a standard that you're working towards in your division as well.
Yeah, from what I watched, it kind of went the way I thought Ankalaev would secure the win. But yeah, I definitely felt like we didn't see the best Pereira that we've seen before. Like, I mean, I've watched like countless of hours of him and the things he kind of goes through in the fight. You know, that's just when we were training for him with Israel. I just kind of got used to watching his style a lot and trying to implement it, and not seeing him go through the same like order of events that he usually does in these title fights. It was kind of odd, so I would like to see them rematch at some stage maybe, but you know, you never know what the UFC want to do. I think I definitely believe Ankalaev won the fight, maybe like 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Rounds 2, 3, and 4 from what I was watching. But yeah, he played it smart. Like he didn't really need to run much risk, get his shots in, and then press him against the fence and make him defend like that. That's tiring, having to deal with someone like pressing you, and you got to like work to get off the cage, but you've also got to worry about the takedown. Like when you got more weapons to go into a fight, you're not just known as a striker. It does put you on your heels a bit, and which is what we saw. Ankalaev, put him on the back foot, which is not something we see often, and I think that was like key for him to get the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And what that would do to you mentally as well, thinking, oh crap, Mike could be losing this fight right now, or when is that takedown going to come? Do you think it was perhaps that threat that maybe that's why Alex Pereira failed to fire? Yeah,
I think so. I think maybe he was like, I think that comment of him saying, no, I'm going to stand up, maybe played in his mind, and maybe he second guessed it and thought, oh no, he's going to come for my legs or something. But yeah, that definitely could have played a part, because he actually hasn't fought like any guys that have shown a takedown threat or shown a game where they do change it up and take a guy down and can ride you and get heavy on top. This was probably the first guy that approached with that, and I'd always said that about him as well. I was like, man, this guy's kind of, always just fought like favourable matchups, which has been awesome for him, because he's obviously been able to take his shots at Izzy and then move straight up and do the same at light heavyweight. So yeah, it's I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's like good, and you're not in the UFC and not good at defending, but yeah, I think this was like the first real test for him. Yeah,
absolutely. I made mention last week on the show about Ankalaev's CV compared to that of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, of course, fought Jamal Hill, Khalil Roundtree, Jan Blachowicz, Jiří Procházka. Ankalaev's only fought Jan Blachowicz, and was still able to come out and break down that code and get the better of Pereira. You talk about a potential rematch. I think that is in the works at the moment.
Насчет реванша уже переговоры идут, пока неизвестно, кто будет следующий, но мы согласились заранее, если хотят реванш, то мы готовы.
I wanted to get your thoughts though on where you feel perhaps that this could leave your teammate Carlos Ulberg. Is this a good thing for Carlos Ulberg with his fight coming up against Jan Blachowicz?
Carlos knows that this is the year for him to potentially reach that title, and I know they're going to be pushing Pereira to come in for that rematch, maybe just because of he's like a big draw right now. He's a big fan favorite. Everyone loves the guy. They're going to be pushing for that. So I'm hoping Carlos gets through this and calls his shot. Calls his shot for Ankalaev, because I think he matches up well against either one of them, and it's kind of a weird one, because you want the title, and you win this one, you're pretty much next in line, but then there's the whole waiting thing. It's like, do you wait or do you fight and risk your spot as well? So it's a risk, and I'm not too sure what he's got planned, but obviously first things first and get through Jan, which I think he'll do, and I'm interested to see how this year plays out for him.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's good timing too, this fight being, where it is on the calendar year.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more time to work towards something should it come up in the future. There's Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree waiting in the wings too. They haven't fought Ankalaev as well.
Yeah. If Pereira had won, people don't really want to see him go through the guys he's already beat.
Yeah.
So now that there's a fresh face, I guess now the other guys that are on the 1 and 2 spot, they get to kind of push, let me get at him, So Carlos may have to fight one more time, but if you just get on the mic and start calling it out, that's always a way to kind of get everyone talking about it, which I feel like gets you the shot, So.
Well, in Carlos's case, it's a lot of the time is Colgate Smile.
Yeah. Pretty sure hard out. So he's kind of coming up in the shadows behind everyone. I think everyone's kind of not they don't really mention him that much, you know, but they know he's really, really good. And
Absolutely.
It's almost like they don't want to mention him, eh? So
We don't need another guy in the mix. We don't want another guy in the mix.
I mean, it's hard to obviously study the tape on him because he just beamed everyone in the first 10 seconds of the first round. So, yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd be ranting and raving, you know. But I mean, I guess I got to wait my turn. But yeah, I think they know who he is for sure.
How has he been in the gym? Obviously, you two are both light heavyweights. Is there a lot of cross-pollination between the two of you in preparation?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, we've got so much respect for each other. We really give it to each other in the gym. Like, yeah, I'm always going at him, and he gives me the same energy back. Like, we're never ever going easy on each other. We're basically bringing each other up. You know, it's like I'm getting one over him, he's getting one over me, and then I'm going back to the gym straight away. I'm asking the coaches, like, every time he does this, like, what am I meant to do here, you know? And it's just been like that for the past, 3 years since I've been at the gym. And yeah, we've like climbed the roof, you know? I was a little like, oh man, I just need to be in the UFC so I can show out like he is. Yeah. And yeah, now that I'm here, it's good because I know I'm like really at that level. Yeah, for me, it's just showing it on paper, and that's I can do that now because I'm not short for fights, you know. Because before I couldn't. I was just ranting about how good I was, but now I can actually show it in the cage. That's
the great thing about City Kickboxing. You're never short of sparring partners, and not just sparring partners, but quality sparring partners. Where a lot of the time, I'm guessing when you go in to face someone in the octagon, the sparring could be harder than the fight that you're facing. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I say to some of the amateurs below me, I'm like, remember when you go out and fight, you're not fighting Israel Adesanya, you know, you're fighting someone that's just coming into the cage, so they're not going to be making the same reads that your teammates are, and I think sometimes they overthink it a little bit, and that's the trouble with some of the guys underneath us. But I mean, I go out there and I can usually tell how good someone is in the first minute of the first round, and then I can just start going through my emotions. And some fights don't even need to be that hard if you're really, really good at breaking them down, and you can make hard fights look easy. And I've always been a big advocate for that. If you do everything technically right, you can really like go into that, Israel calls it God mode, and you're able to like really look untouchable and look clean. And that to me has always been more impressive than just like these like fanatic finishes that you see. I mean, it looks cool on the highlight reel, but the real martial artists, they really watch what's going on and where his positioning is and how he puts him to the fence and how he mixes in his takedown or defends and strikes. That's like where the real martial artists are. Where does that come from? Because is it a mental thing? Does it just come with experience? Is it a confidence thing? Yeah,
definitely comes with experience, and then just having the know-how to kind of like watch fights, and you just kind of see the meta of MMA. Like, it's always changing. Like, there'll be a new takedown that's working, or the way guys are getting consolidated on the ground, certain get-ups that are just like too easy. Like, the meta is always changing, and it's like sometimes the striking, now it's like striking is taking over because these strikers are getting better at defending takedowns, and then the wrestlers are getting ahead. So now this year it's all about this wrestling move and how to stop that. And I really try to download all of that when I'm, preparing for myself and when I go into a fight.
So now all this work is being done, all these questions are getting asked and answered, and now you're staring down the barrel at fight number 2 in the UFC. You're on the prelims of UFC 315, which will be headlined by Jack Della Maddalena fighting for the welterweight title against Bilal Muhammad, which is really exciting. First, before we get into the fight itself, I wanted to ask you about life since you've been in the UFC. 2024 was a great year for you. You came on to the Dana White Contender Series, won that fight in spectacular fashion, went on to Tampa, won your debut, and now the wheel keeps turning. So how has life been for you Because obviously it would be a bit different now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I've always had, like, in terms of like hype and fame, I think New Zealand has always been behind me for well before I was in the UFC, and even was close to it. I think just going off the King of the Ring wins that I had and really taking that with me. So fame has never been an issue, sort of thing. So I've been used to that and dealing with that. Like it doesn't feel that overwhelming for me. In terms of like just having a bit of relief, like knowing like, okay, I've got my foot in the door, which was always the biggest issue. Is like you'll see many great athletes of MMA fighters that are like really, really good and should be there, but they can never get their foot in the door, and you never know what it is. Is it like a management thing? Is it like, am I not presentable enough or like marketable enough? It's just like, we don't know, you know. Like I think it's just hard for us New Zealanders to get our foot in the door. So that has been a huge relief, you know. So it's taken a bit of pressure off me, as well as just like having a bit of money behind me now to really go all in on the sport, having like great sponsors and stuff as well. Yeah, like I can really dive right into MMA now. I don't have to worry about work and stuff like that, which has been a huge, huge relief, and being able to like look after myself as well. So yeah, other than that, life hasn't really changed too much. You go back to the gym and you're right at the bottom with everyone. That's the way you feel, you know. And I kind of feel like I'm starting all over again. And now it's just saying I'm going to be the champion, and at the time where I can say, I told you so, you know, in the future. Just like the way I did years ago when I said I told everyone I was going to be in the UFC. And now that that's open, now we're moving to the next step, and it's getting the belt and being the best ever, and that's what I want to do, and that's nothing has changed. It's just restarting.
Yeah, well, I think that's one thing about New Zealanders, that I don't really think the humbleness ever leaves Kiwis.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, especially with our Māori, like this is just who we are. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And all this cool stuff just happens to be happening around us.
Yeah. New Zealand is very laid back, but yeah, I'm a little bit different, and I'm very ambitious person, and I'm not afraid to speak what I want as well.
Yeah. Well, especially in a sport like, you know, mixed martial arts and being in the UFC, you're like an independent contractor where you are in control of your destiny in terms of promoting yourself and getting that assistance and, you know, doing the research and all that sort of thing. So if you don't put it in, you're not going to get reward, right?
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I'm gonna call my shot early and all that stuff. So yeah, I just can't wait to fight and let it all unfold. All the hard stuff's done. I can just go in and fight.
Nice. Well, let's talk a little bit about that fight, because come May the 10th, Stirling versus Erslan, I believe. You're obviously preparing for this right now. Your thoughts on this matchup? Anticipation levels? How are they feeling?
Yeah, he's a very good opponent for me. I feel like I've fought a lot of guys that I should have beat, and now it's fighting someone that's, you know, a little bit like that's really decent. That's good. He come away with a split decision loss in his debut against Ion Cutelaba, who's on a bit of a tear right now, you know. So people are looking at that thinking, you know, he's like a favourable, he's the favoured matchup potentially against me, which is good, because it feels nice to finally fight with my heels on the fence again, and potentially not being the favourite, and being like, I've actually got to, like, you know, fight hard. This guy's not going to just lay over for me. So I'm excited for that part of it, just the fear factor a little, because that's why I do it, you know. I do it because I want to test myself against the best. I don't want to just fight guys that are going to walk through, like I did on the local circuit. So that's been cool, and yeah, he's a very explosive fighter, like very explosive from what I'd seen the the footage when he was on KSW. Yeah, he got a lot of explosive first round knockouts. I think he's like 14 wins with 10 big knockouts. So there's a lot of danger there. And if I can finish this guy, I can, people can give me a bit more respect, on the international scene, I guess.
He's a big banger, but so are you,
yes,
Nev. So this is probably something you're really looking forward to. We were talking off camera about how this was in Canada, and you've never been to Canada before, so great experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the Canada. I've never been, but I don't know what to expect. But I've booked it to come into the fight week a little decent time out, because last time I ran it close. I literally was like, wanted to stay in New Zealand as long as I could before I had to go to Tampa for my last one, and I was like, sheesh, I'm cutting it pretty close here. I was on the plane trying to cut weight, and the lady's like not giving me any water, and I'm like, I kind of freaked out a little bit, but then I managed to sneak out the back when everyone was asleep, and I stole the water. So I was like, I need to get the water load in. So we managed to make it work, but probably cut it a bit closer last time.
No, it'd be good. It'd be good to get over there, back on the train again, and it's just after Anzac Day too, and this was also another discussion we were having on camera too. So obviously, as I mentioned at the top, it's both you and Jack Della, the Anzacs on this card, which is so exciting.
Yes.
But I mean, going over there, Anzac Day, and all these emotions around, what happens both here in New Zealand and Australia when we think about what our veterans and everyone did for us so that we can live these, these lives now. What does this mean for you to be, you might be over there during Anzac Day, or maybe just after it.
Yeah.
And over there with an Australian and flying that Anzac flag.
Yeah. We just gotta hold it down for the Anzacs, and like, cause we're such a small part of the world, and these other people, they don't realise that we're a country of 5 million. You know, like they don't even have that much in one state in America or wherever. So I always try to remind people like to give us a little bit more respect, and I'm gonna show that with my skills and carry it all like the nation on my back. Like I'm real big on that, because we need more like some outspoken people, because we're not very outspoken, so if there's anyone to get behind, I'm just like, man, jump on, jump on, I'll carry everyone. So it
Buy
is
your
what
train
it is.
ticket now,
Jump on board. It is what it is,
Well, Nev, thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best come May the 10th when you're on this UFC 315 whānau. You will want to tune in for that as well. Keep attention on to the TV guides, Sky Arena, Sky Sport. Now, of course, we've got 314 to come first, which is featuring Alexander Volkanovski. And then, of course, this card will be soon after that. But Nev, kia ora, and I'm sure we will catch up again soon before you fight. So.
For sure.
Ka pai. Well, whānau, thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here next week. Hei kōna mai.